Hey guys, welcome to Monkey's World. Okay. Of course, the P.O. Box rent is going up. Gotta pay it before July 11th. And I'm getting a new food card. So, I also have this. It's not enough to make its own unboxing video, so I'll do this as a mail call video. As there are going to be chips on the food cards now. And like I said, I don't know what it's going up to, but it'll be over $100, which is insane. It's already $98 for 6 months for a post office box. It's like, I'd really prefer getting it delivered to my house, but I don't have that option because my landlord doesn't allow that option. Because he doesn't want that big ugly box with 7 little boxes in it in his yard. This is part of my Temu order. I loved the fact that it had the holes. So I can put this into a binder, which is awesome. It's also, I like notebooks like this for kid missing because I'm left-handed and I bang into the coils of most notebooks or the coil of a binder. I like having one like this. I can write in, then slip it into a binder. And I have no coils that I'm hitting. So I like these legal style pads. If you're right-handed, you're writing away from the binder that you're writing in. If you're left-handed, you're bumping into it. So it's kind of nice to have these. And these are very, very inexpensive on Temu. They're like $1 something. So it's a nice little notebook, and I'll definitely get more. The color must have been random because I didn't choose the color. I wouldn't have chosen, yeah, that's a word, chosen something that dark, but it'll be fine as long as I use a pen with a dark enough color. And I have this pen, which I love. Love the colors. These I grew up with. And I finally know what that little circle is actually for. These are used by nurses and aides in the hospital. And that little thing is to put a ribbon or something through to wear it around your neck. So you always have it in a hospital setting or a nursing home setting. That's what that's for. Took me long enough to figure it out. I should have known that because my mother always had these when I was young. In fact, she would buy a package of them. She would always give me one because I liked. And I remember they used to have more than 5 colors, some of them. Some of them had a whole bunch of colors. This has the blue, purple, black, and red. And if I take it off, you will see which ones have been used the most. Red has been used the least. You can see that purple and black have been used the most. Blue hasn't been used as much, but you can see it. And you just slide that back on. But I grew up with these because my mother was a nurse's aide in hospital and nursing homes. So these were like required equipment. And she would always give me one to have at home, so I had a pen like mommy, you know? So this has memory in it more than anything else for me. And I do want to get another one because I want to make sure that even if the ink runs out on this one, I still have one of these because it's memory for me. That sounds silly, but it's not to me. I hardly ever use red because to me red means school, it means correction, you know. So I just don't use it. It's a color I really don't use in anything except a marker. If I'm coloring, I'll use red, obviously, if something needs to be red. But, you know, if I'm coloring a fruit that needs to be red, or I'm coloring Santa or whatever, yes, I'll use red, but I don't use red for writing. School, not good for me. Especially elementary school, where you saw a lot of red. You really didn't have that in high school. But in elementary school, a teacher always had a red pencil or a red pen. Mostly a red pencil, which is a correcting pencil. That's what it's for. And so red just gives me PTSD when it comes to pens and pencils. And I'm not even kidding, because I actually am diagnosed with PTSD. So trying to use that would just bring up all that horrible stuff from school. And I just don't do it. That's why the red is full. Because I just don't do it. I know, like I said to a lot of people, that sounds ridiculous, but if you went through what I went through in school, you'd understand why it literally is part of the PTSD that I have from school. And I'm legitimately diagnosed. I'm not one of these people that says, oh, that gives me PTSD, and not having any clue what they mean. You know what I mean? I hate it when people do that. No, you have no idea. PTSD is not instant, first of all. Doesn't happen instantly. It's when something comes back later over time. And you can feel like you're in that moment. And it's horrifying. Trust me. I've been professionally diagnosed. I know from where I speak. So I don't like it when people do that. Because even if I wasn't someone who's been diagnosed, I wouldn't like it. Because I think it lessens it for anyone who's been diagnosed with that. Don't tell a soldier, don't use that as an expression to a soldier who every time a car backfires is back on the battlefield. You know what I mean? Don't do that. Don't tell a kid like me who is so worried about another kid getting made fun of because they have a difference. Like a kid I knew that had cleft lip. I was sobbing before he started school, worried that he was going to get made fun of. That's PTSD. When you're right back in that moment. And I was right back in that moment and didn't want someone else to go through what I had been through and what I was still going through on the inside. And so, sorry, my scars hurt. That happens sometimes. It has to do with, scar tissue, adhesion, pulling, that kind of a thing. And that's why you see me reaching in my shirt. I'm not doing anything. I'm just rubbing my scar, because my scar where my port was hurts. So anyway, yeah, don't tell that to someone who's been through something traumatic and certain things trigger it. You know what I mean? I hate it when people use that. They don't understand what post, meaning after, traumatic stress disorder actually is. So, You get to hear me vent about that. But that is a big pet peeve of mine when people will say that. When you've actually been diagnosed. You know? It's like, no, you don't get it. And it's a new thing with young people. Like, yeah, no, you don't get it. You don't get what I've been through. You don't get the therapy. You don't get no. You don't get to say that, is my point. Let me know what you think, because that drives me nuts. Not just for me, for soldiers, for victims of violent crime that go through it. You know what I mean? Just don't do it. It minimizes what it is for the rest of us. You know what I mean? People may not see it that way. It's kind of like, to me, using the R word in conversation, or, you know, oh, you're a R word. No, don't use that word. Absolutely do not use that word. You know what I mean? It's kind of along the same lines as using that word. Can't use it on YouTube, I don't think. I really don't want to anyway. The definition of that word is slow. Slow to do something. That's why we use it in terms of children's clothing. I can say it this way. Children's clothing are flame retardant, meaning that they slow flame from getting to the kid because they don't burn as quickly. It's the same thing as the word without the ant at the end. It just means you learn slowly. Your learning is slowed. So don't call somebody an R word or an R word with an ED. Just don't do it. People don't see it as making fun of someone who's slow, but it's minimizing someone who's slow. It's making them less than. Because you're calling somebody who's quote unquote perfectly normal that word, and you're minimizing real struggles. You know what I mean? So to me, it's the same thing. So I just wanted you guys to understand that from my point of view, you know? And I certainly hope that whoever sees this will think about it before they use those expressions in those terms. So, thank you so much for joining me. God bless you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Please subscribe, guys. Bye, guys.